good afternoon or evening or morning, depending upon where you are around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, and I'm bringing you yet another edition of Passion Fridays. And what an amazing Friday to do a Passion Friday on, which is Good Friday. Around the world, people are celebrating this Holy Week, this Passion Week of the final steps of Jesus Christ. Many who are of the Christian faith and many around the world who follow Christendom are pausing today. Employers are pausing today. Organizations are pausing today for Good Friday. And Good Friday, though it brings us some pretty tragic outcomes, it brings us some great news of the hope for a new day, a resurrection, a new life, a new opportunity, and a fresh start. And I want to share with you across platforms, whether you're on Facebook Live like Deborah Bishop and others, or you're on LinkedIn Live like Michael Shadunki, who is from Africa. Whether you are with us on YouTube or Twitch TV, you may be thinking about Good Friday and the passion that comes with the final steps and pathway of Jesus Christ. And maybe this will land on you that even in our present day, there are still Black and brown bodies that are under assault for nothing, for what we cannot seem to surmise to be a crime punishable by death. And I want to share with you just from a personal standpoint that led me into a deeper look at Black and brown bodies today and to honor them and their lives. I happened after a very long week in budget development and uh, video productions and all of the things that I endeavor and seek to do. I needed a break. I needed some rest. And in this self care journey in the month of April, we're talking about setting boundaries, learning to tell yourself no, learning to tell others no, and learning to retreat when other people have crossed those boundaries. And so I decided to go to one of my favorite spots in a suburban area to get some oysters. I love oysters. Anybody that knows me knows that I love oysters. And I decided to go to the suburban spot. So I grabbed my keys and got ready and jetted out of the house. And I got to the location, the suburb, a few minutes away, and parked my car where it appears there are new meters happening. And they are constructing a new pay system for the meters. And I found a spot not far from the restaurant, which was great. I didn't have to walk far, even though I should be putting some exercise in. And I began to get out of the car to pay for the meter and realized the meter had a black screen. They were really still installing meters section by section in this specific area. And so I thought, well, wonderful. I won't even have to pay for the meter. Wouldn't this be great to park for free? And I dashed back into the car and realized I had forgotten my wallet. In a panic, I thought, oh my goodness, I'll have to drive home. And if I drive back home, I'm going to stay there. I'm not coming back out. Maybe it's not meant for me to have oysters today. And so I called the restaurant, which was just across the street, but I called the restaurant and said, hey, by any chance, do you take Apple Pay? And they said, sure, we do. I said, oh, wonderful, because I left my wallet. And then I thought about it. Not only was my concern that I had left my wallet and wouldn't have had a way to pay, I didn't have any ID on me. And I was keenly aware in that moment that I was driving while Black without ID in a suburb that doesn't have a reputation necessarily for loving on Black and brown bodies. In that moment, my heart fluttered. What if I get stopped on the way home? How will that go? Should I take a different route home? My license is good. My birthday is coming up, so it will soon need to, but my plate will soon need to be renewed, but my plate is good. My insurance is good. But in that moment, fleeting moment, nervousness crept in. Because as an African American man, a black and brown bodied person, I'm keenly aware of what can and does happen from what is a simple or considered to be a simple routine traffic stop. Now, I'm not a speeder. Those that know me, I'm not a lawbreaker. But because the opportunity, the possibility could happen, I had that moment of concern. I awakened to find a news story that I had not paid particular attention to for whatever reasons from a great Facebook friend and fashion mentor. I will call him Ronald Robinson Lockett, who chronicles the story of a Patrick Yoya, I hope I am pronouncing his last name correctly, here in the state of Michigan, in the city of Grand Rapids, who did not make it home from a traffic stop on April 4th. He was shot in the back of the head, point blank range, with the officer on his back and knee in his back. I will not play the video. I will show in a moment a picture of Patrick's father holding up a picture of Patrick. But I do want to share some of the information with you before our guest from Liberia is having a little bit of technical difficulty. So we're hoping he's coming in very shortly. He is the reason why we're doing the Wings for Life show on Passion Friday. But I wanted to share with you a little bit of the history of that city, Grand Rapids, and their interaction with Black and brown bodies over recent years to provide some clarity and context to my thoughts on what is happening there. And some of this in part you will find at Bridge, Michigan, and other resources that the Grand Rapids police have faced years of racial bias complaints. Years. Grand Rapids has joined the long list of American cities where a Black motorist died at the hands of police. And on April 4th, an officer shot a Congolese immigrant in the head during a struggle following a traffic stop. The death of 26-year-old Patrick Yoya follows years of warnings by community residents over the city police department's treatment of Black residents and efforts to improve that relationship. The police released the videos of the traffic stop, 4 videos, none of which I will play. They are too graphic. I invite you to go and look at those if you would like to see them, but they're pretty graphic. The city manager there, Mark Washington, had this to say during a media press conference, quote, "The public has my commitment to get through this together. There will be understandable expressions of shock, of anger, and pain," unquote. They're saying Patrick was pulled over because his car allegedly had an improper registration. He was unarmed, but a scuffle erupted after he got out of his vehicle. During the video, the officer is heard yelling Yoya to let go of the officer's taser before the shooting. Okay. I'm going to take a look back. March 2017. Police officers pulled over and aimed guns at a group of 5 young unarmed Black boys. The incident was followed by heated community discussions at the city commission meetings. Former Chief of Police Dave Rahinsky, who has since retired, apologized to the boys, their families, and the Black community, but he maintained that the officers followed protocol. The very next month, in April of 2017, a traffic study was released that showed Black motorists in Grand Rapids were twice as likely to be pulled over as white motorists, despite the fact that the city's Black population was around 14% at that time. As a result of that traffic study, the department hired a consulting firm to evaluate its policies and procedures and and remove examples of implicit bias. Some of the recommendations the firm made were to increase cultural competency training for officers and host discussions between the community and police. In December of that same year, 2017, the police faced scrutiny when an officer pointed a gun at an unarmed 11-year-old Black girl before searching and handcuffing her. This incident led to the department's adopting a new youth interactions policy that was implemented to protect other children from unnecessary police force. In 2018, there were two more incidents of police officers either pointing guns at or handcuffing unarmed Black and brown children, prompting the department to update its youth interaction policy just a year after it was created. Police made changes to how youth would be handcuffed, when a child would be put in a police cruiser, and when officers should draw a firearm. In November of that same year, citizens criticized the department after a police captain called U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, on U.S. citizen and Marine combat veteran Jomar Ramos Gomez, even though he was carrying multiple forms of identification that proved he was an American citizen. In 2019, the American Civil Liberties Union and Michigan Immigration Rights Center filed civil rights complaints against police for the situation with Ramos Gomez and an unrelated incident where police officers pulled over two unarmed teens, one of whom was a 15-year-old Mexican of Mexican descent, The complaints led to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights to host two public hearings, during which residents voiced concerns about the way Grand Rapids police treat Black and brown people. The state opted against opening an investigation. In late 2019, a city-sponsored survey found 3 in 10 Grand Rapids residents didn't trust the police department. Unlike the traffic study from 2017, this was an anonymous online survey only. In May of 2020, the police budget was increased by $700,000 to $61 million, despite calls, from activists to decrease funding to police. Later that month, the murder of George Floyd by police in Minneapolis led to several days of protest in Grand Rapids, including some that resulted in property damage, broken windows, and police dispersing crowds with tear gas and flashbangs. Following the protest, Grand Rapids officials says they are willing to make police reforms to make the department more accountable and safer for residents. At the time, many activists were still calling for the department to be defunded to better invest in community services. And on the morning of April 4th, 2022, 26-year-old Congolese immigrant Patrick Yoya was shot and killed by a Grand Rapids police officer. Chief Eric Winstrom said the investigation, which is being handled by the Michigan State Police, is ongoing. He did not disclose the name of the officer at that time, but said the officer was in shock following the incident. I do want to share again, as I mentioned, I want to share not the video, but I do want to share a picture of Patrick's father holding up a picture of Patrick. I'm sharing that as a moment of silence in Patrick's memory. And in 2022, though all of the details, the investigation is not complete, but what could have been a routine traffic stop in a city who's had in recent years challenges with interaction and cultural competencies with Black and brown people. Yet another young life is taken. There will be people on both sides of this, as there were in the days of Jesus Christ. A Black and brown body that was drugged through several courts. And in some of the proceedings, high officials said, I find no fault in him. What you will see, because there are already news reports about this immigrant who came to the US in 2014, as I've read, is my understanding, had no prior criminal record. Find no fault in him. Now, I am not in the situation. I was not in the officer's mind. I was not present. I don't know the details as they will come forward. But this is still the same country where a routine traffic stop turns into a funeral procession, a candlelight visual. The delving into someone's priors and personals. At some point, there must be a resurrection. There must be a resolve, a solution to the taking and killing of Black and brown bodies. The one we celebrate and laud today happened over 2,000 years ago. And I know there are many people who will say Good Friday didn't happen on Friday and this and that will not be the discourse for today. Christians around the world and many others observe that this Good Friday is about the sacrifice of a Black body, a brown body, who gave his life. And so, in that same spirit, I want you today to think of Patrick Yoya, whose life might remind us that we have a long journey to go as it relates to cultural competencies with those that are in law enforcement. You and I can make a difference in that by taking a stand with our elected officials to ensure that we want those that violate the rights of persons and take the life of persons, whether they are Black, white, brown, or in blue, that there is an accountability and that there is a justice for what happens. Coming up, I'm going to have Raymond Fallah Bombo from Liberia join us. He is here to tell us about Wings of Life, and he is the reason that I'm coming on Passion Friday, because I want you to have an option to make a sacrifice, to help a cause, to help Black and brown bodies everywhere, and in the spirit of Good Friday, to give people a fresh start, an opportunity to rise again and live out their best. This is Passion Fridays. We will be right back. I want to share with you just a commercial of sorts, I will call it. I hope that I'm going to be able to share a commercial of sorts with you. Okay, maybe I won't have the commercial right at the second. Let's see. All right. We will be right back. And we're back, and we're bringing on the screen Raymond Fallah Bombo. Hello there, sir.
Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that you finally made it in. Thank you so much. And Raymond, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited for what's happening with you for Wings for Life. Tell us where you are for those that may not know where you are. Where are you now?
Thank you so much. Currently, I'm sitting at my office. If you just look behind there, this where we are. This where our office is. We are actually in West Africa, Liberia specifically, and right now you can see how the weather is like. Yeah, we
Okay.
got a very cool atmosphere, and we are
Okay.
enjoying the view.
Fantastic. So West Africa. So shout out to all of those African brothers and sisters. Thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate all of you. Listen, Raymond, tell us a little bit about the area. Some of us have never been to Africa, right? So what is it like in Liberia? What is the weather like? What is the atmosphere like? Tell us a little bit about
Okay, good. Actually, we have two seasons, and this is the dry season. We
it.
are
Mhm.
about to enter the rainy season. Right now, the atmosphere is good. We are expecting some rain that might fall in the next 2 hours from now, according to the weather report. But actually, the atmosphere is cool. Uh, the only issue here is, more people here are jobless, and because of that, you know, we have theft at the peak of crime.
Yes. And so are the is it a lack of jobs, a lack of skill? Is it related to the pandemic? Why is there a lot of joblessness, do you think?
So one of the key reason for the lack of joblessness is because more people are not educated, and not just that, there's no skills. As you just said, there's nothing like skills. So that is why we are wanting to give that back to people that are coming out of jail. You know, want to give them some sort of something that they can live on. So that they can reoffend,
Yes,
and that is the actual cause of the theft.
got it. So tell us about you are the executive director for Wings for Life. Tell us what Wings of Life is all about. We know that it's helping to curb or eliminate recidivism, but tell us, how did you come to be the executive director, and why this cause? Why did you pick up this cause?
Okay, good. It was unfortunate for me. I have to go to jail and spend a couple of days in jail. That's where the passion actually came from, because I went and met people, men and women, overcrowded. We do not have a separate juvenile institution, no special facility for female detainees. Everyone mixed, and the room is overcrowded. Lack of medication. We got faces and everywhere, so to speak. You know, so the inhumane treatment is one of the things that drove me to do what I'm doing today.
And Raymond, I just want to make sure that the viewers will hear you. You said that the men and women were housed together. Is that correct? There was no separate facility?
Yeah, there's no separate facility, even though they are not in the same cell, but there's no separate facility. And just within the same facility, but with different, uh, uh, distinction. That is separation. Yeah.
Mhm. And you said there was feces everywhere. So was there is there sewerage? Is there normal water systems? Or tell us a little bit more.
So there's nothing like water system there. There's nothing like sewer system. Wherever people are jailed, there where they defecate, you know, they eat right there. There's nowhere specific that they bring you out, like a cafeteria where you can eat. No, you have to eat right in your cell,
Mm.
and that's
Wow.
that's how it is. Yes,
Wow.
nothing like a place you can lie down. You have to lie on the floor. No mattress, no bed, no bedding, no medic. It's so deplorable.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
how.
You just you never know how truly blessed you are until you hear sometimes the stories that others have experienced. And so you were there for 2 years.
No, I spent 3 days. 3 days.
Oh, three
Yeah,
days, three
yeah,
days.
three
Okay.
days. Yeah,
So imagine people that are there much longer.
yeah.
So that drove you to wanting to help people that get out. How was it like for you, though it was a short time that you were there? Was there any stigma around you having gone to jail, embarrassment for having been in jail, trouble finding employment after you got out of jail? What happened?
So actually, I'm a professional man. I'm an IT. So I already had a job,
Hmm.
before going there. So it wasn't
Hmm.
difficult when I came out, finding something to do because I already have one doing. But
Mhm.
there's stigma attached to it. Most people would now easily want to affiliate with you because they think, you've been to the worst place on earth. You know,
Mhm.
they think those that are there are not human. You see, so because of all of that, and I see people being maltreated, they are not eating properly. Many of the people that are there are pre-trial detainees, and some have spent years without trial for
Wow.
minor offenses. So, couple of all of that, I said, no, this there's a need for me to do this. I cannot see people coming out of jail, and interestingly, most of the people you're gonna ask how many times you've been to jail, they're gonna give you multiple times that they've been going there. And when you ask why are you doing this, why is this happening to you, they tell you when I come out of jail, I'm abandoned, I'm stigmatized, so I cannot make new friends. I have to be with the same old friends, that I met in jail, or the ones that caused me to go to jail. And when I come out, I got to get right back to those same people. So I have to get involved with crime again and back. So that's one reason the rate of recidivism is so high, because people are jobless, they are skillless, and that is where I think I need to come in. So that is where my calling came, and I entered and started to help.
Yeah, I love it that you said that's where your calling came and you answered. I think that's truly important to find your calling and answer it. And sounds like you have found it and answered it. And I would say God is responding. And so I'm excited that Wings for Love, or Wings for Life rather, is doing love work, is what I really want to say. And so tell us more about Wings for Life, the program, and what you're doing today.
So, first of all, we spring from the passion of caring people and the deep concern we have, to help people that are coming back and forth from prison.
Hmm.
And and our what we want to do is to make sure we transform life to break the generational cycle of incarceration. So
Hmm.
once a man goes to jail or a woman goes to jail, their children become vulnerable, and in the end, they end up right behind bars like their parents. So
Hmm.
what we are trying to do is to cut in front of that, not just about who I mean the people that are going to jail. Also, we work with people that are on the outside because we want to prevent them from going in there because of the overcrowdedness, and because
Hmm.
when they go there they learn new crime. They come and and use whatever they learn there, and we don't know who's going to be the next victim. So
Hmm.
currently we are working on a project we call the Wins Transitional Home, and
Hmm.
the essence of that home is to host men and women that will be living from prison. We're going to host them there and give them skills. So specifically in carpentry, we're going to send them an IT. We're going to teach them IT related things. I got my team that I'm working with. We're going to
Hmm.
also teach them how to do air condition installation and how to maintain it as well. So these are things we're going to be doing, yeah, at that home.
Wonderful. And at this home that you are looking to construct, because you're trying to build it from the ground up, is that correct?
No, we are
No.
not trying to be, no, no. So we lease a structure already that has 5 bedrooms in it,
Hmm.
and the space is 55 by 106 uh, foot wide. So we property, and what we want to do is to renovate it. We're going to renovate the property, yeah, roof it, make sure we have new roof on top of it, and then we're going to use that purposely for that.
Okay. And so are you going to maintain the 5 bedrooms? Or are you trying to expand to have more bedrooms? How many people will be able to be in the program at one time?
So at one time we are looking at 6 person yet.
Okay.
So yeah, two person in a room in the meantime. So actually we want to expand the building, but what we want to do right now is not to add additional room for lodging, but instead to create a workshop at the back of it and a conference room at the front.
Okay.
So that's the additional structure we want to add to that.
So you'll have transitional housing for people to get on their feet, and you also have coursework for them to learn the skills. Um,
Right.
how will people um, how will people learn about the program? Do you have some kind of relationship with the prisons that people will automatically get referred, or how many people will be able to be in the workshops at one time?
So yes, we have referral. We are working in close connection with the Ministry of Justice and the Department of Probation. They've been doing all over the last 3 years. We've been doing this work. Uh, with all of the investigation we've been carrying on, we noticed that this is something that we transition, you know, to something much better than what it is now. So we have those referrals in different counties, and they know how to get over to us. So actually, for the workshop, it has enough space for just the number of people we're going to be hosting. So
Got
we
it.
can
So it'll
host, yeah,
be about
yeah,
6 people per.
yes.
And how long does the workshops do they last for them to get the skill? How long?
So we are looking at 6 months.
Six
Six
months.
months, yeah, yeah, six
So
months.
every 6 months there should be kind of some kind of graduation or commencement
Yes,
of people leaving the program.
absolutely, yes.
So you're going to have to come back every 6 months so that we can see the graduates of your program
Oh,
to make sure
yes.
that we encourage them to keep going. I think this is fantastic. It's an example of taking from your personal story, answering the call, and living in your passion and purpose. So I'm so pleased to be connected to you and to this great work that you're doing. Can you tell us a little bit more about the skills that so this will this be the first group that is graduated, or do you have people that have completed it already?
No, this would be the first. This,
Okay.
yeah, this is first. Yeah.
Okay. So you expect, when will the program start, and when's the projected graduation date?
So currently we are still working on the renovation of the building, and we are optimistic that between now and September, that place will be completed, and then we can start at once. So based
Okay.
on the completion, because right now we do not have funding situated somewhere that we can use at once. We are lobbying, we are asking people from diverse backgrounds to see how they can help with funding so we can carry on the renovation. We already have someone in the U.S. that make a very huge donation of tools, carpentry tools. They gave out a 20-foot continuum full of carpentry tools already. So we have a lot of equipment already. The only thing is to make sure we have the building renovated, and then we can start at once.
Right. Very good. We're talking to Raymond Fallah Bombo, about who is the executive director for Wings for Life, this fantastic program that's happening in Liberia to address joblessness, to address the skills gap, and to address recidivism. And so we're pleased to have him here, and we're hoping that especially those of you that are joining us um, on LinkedIn Live, those business owners and those that are in positions where your organization could donate, we definitely want you to consider Wings for Life as a place, as a good investment to donate in, so that they can have the resources to house these persons that are who need a fresh start and who need another chance into their program. So they will be in transitional housing while they're going through the 6 month program. And we want to help them to build up the facility so that they can house these individuals every 6 months. So we're so excited, and we hope that you will join us in that effort. I see that Arthur Pryor, Stephanie Hall, Sam Jolly, Phyllis Lloyd, Marcus Remy LePoe, um, LeBeau, Daisy Simmons. Thank you all for joining us, and those that are joining us, Michael Shadunky on LinkedIn and others. Hope you will click share and tag someone. I'm talking to Raymond Fallah Bombo, Executive Director of Wings for Life. And I think this is a great effort, as I've told you, off camera, Raymond. I think it's a great effort. Um, I want to ask about your partners. How do organizations partner with you? Is there a way that you have corporate sponsorship or partners? How can organizations do that?
So We already have a sponsor that we are partnering with in the U.S. That is Wings for Life International, and the head
Hmm.
office is in Albuquerque. So
Hmm.
whoever wants to get in touch with us, you know, or they want to authenticate, whatever we are involved with, can just get in touch with Anne. Anne is the executive director for Wings International in the USA. Yeah, I can share her information with everyone watching us. Yeah, and we can start our partnership from there.
Yes, I wanted to make sure that you get the information out there because maybe there are organizations that will donate as a corporate sponsor. So maybe you have different sponsorship levels that an organization may be able to donate to Wings for Life. Which Wings for Life, is it a 501(c)(3)? Is it a nonprofit organization? Okay.
Yes, yes,
So
our
that organizations will know that may want to donate, large and small, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, LCs, corporations may want to donate, and that would be great information for them to have. Let's delve a little bit into the programs. So I know you said IT, you're going to be doing some IT training, but you also have some skilled trades programs. So tell us a little bit more about the skills that they will be learning in your skilled trades program and maybe the skills in the IT area.
So specifically, we're going to be doing carpentry, but not carpentry in general, but we're going to specialize it or specify it to furniture carpentry. So
Okay.
whereas we're going to be building doors, we're going to be building tables, and every little thing that related to furniture carpentry is what we're doing.
Mhm.
Followed by air conditioning. You know, this Africa and Liberia, our climate here is very hot, so
Mhm.
most people need air conditioning. So that's something that can create job for jobless people, most especially
Mhm.
those that have offense issue. So we're
Mhm.
gonna make sure we train them in that, in air conditioning installation, and how they can replace gas and all those kind of a thing surrounding
Mhm.
air condition. We're gonna be
Mhm.
training them that as well. As for the IT area, we're going to teach them how to do some repairs, uh, how to do installation of programs, yeah, like OS, all those IT related things that has to do
Mhm.
with, yeah. That's what we're
Mhm.
going to teach them the basic, you know.
Yeah. So in Liberia, is there an apprenticeship type program that's 6 months? Will they have a certificate coming out of this? What will they have when they come out of it?
Yes, we're going to have a certificate for them. That is why we have professionals that will be doing the training.
Mhm.
We already have them on hand.
Mhm.
They are waiting just for the program to kick off. Once the program kicks off, uh, we're going to have professionals there doing the teaching. So
Okay.
there's something that is approved by the Ministry of Education. They are aware of this, and they give us their support.
Okay. That's what I wanted to find out whether or not it was here in the US. We have the Department of Labor that approves our apprenticeships. Our apprenticeships have to be approved by them. So I wondered if you had something similar in Liberia. And it sounds like your
Yes,
Ministry of Education is
yes,
the one that sanctions apprenticeships of this sort, right?
yeah. Anything relating to education is the Ministry of Education that's responsible for that. So they
Gotcha.
have to come and verify whether yes you meet up with that standard. So based on that, they can say yes. Okay, you can certificate someone, or you can give the training to people. Other than that, no, you cannot do anything relating to education.
Fantastic. It's great to hear that so that people
Yeah.
that are giving to you understand that these 6 people every 6 months will walk out with a certification that's been approved by your government.
Mhm.
And I think that's important to note. Now, what's the plan to connect them with jobs then? Once they get the certification, then what? Are you going to be able to connect them with companies that are hiring? Are you going to help them go into business for themselves? What's the plan after they get out of your program?
So that's good. I love the question, and actually, we are not going to give them anything like a business no, but we're going to make sure. That's why we are in consultation with our partners and other well-meaning Liberians that will help to find job for them. We're going to make sure and run after the job, get secure a job for them, and then place them there. So it's job placement and job opportunity. That's what we're going to be creating for them as well.
Wonderful. And another question related to that: once they end the program, do they have a certain amount of time to get a job, or do they have to leave the transitional housing because you'll be getting ready for the next people who will stay? How does that work? If they don't have a job, as soon as they get out, then they won't be able to pay for a place to stay. So how is the plan to coordinate those resources?
Okay, thank you. So the first 3 months, Wayne's going to be fully responsible for whoever that stays in our facility. We're going to house you. We're going to make sure we feed you. We give you all necessary necessity. So after the 3 months, we're going within that right after the 3 months, we make sure to find you a job. If you do not have a job, then you have to volunteer with us. But while you're volunteering, whatever we produce, we're going to have a salary for you, and it's in that salary you're going to learn how to take care of yourself. That is, you have to learn that you have responsibilities. That if you leave our program tomorrow, you're going to be paying your own rent. You're going to be feeding yourself. You're going to take care of your medication. And whatever surrounding livelihood, that's something you're going to be taking care of. So we're going to teach people those things, and then we find you a job, and from that job, you're going to be paying rent. Yeah, indirectly you're going to pay rent, but to your knowledge, we're going to make sure we acknowledge you to that this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Everything every step going to be to your approval. That's how we work.
Got it. So that after a certain point, you have to be you're moving them to being self-sufficient,
Yeah, yeah,
self-sustaining. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That is awesome. And we're talking to Raymond Fallah Bombo, the executive director of Wings for Life, doing preparing to do great work to turn around recidivism, turn around um, some of the joblessness and many of the factors that are keeping people from rising. And so I thought it would be fitting on this Passion Friday, Good Friday, to share the good news of the good work that's being done across the sea in Liberia with our brother in Liberia, Raymond Falabambo. And you can also partner as an organization or corporation with this not for profit organization who has been sanctioned by the Ministry of Education in Liberia to offer this training by contacting him or Wings of for Life International here in the US and let them know that you want to be a corporate sponsor or you want to provide some resources to help them both renovate and retrofit the facility that they're leasing to house the 6 participants and to feed them, um, which I think is awesome, an awesome thing for people coming out because I will imagine sometimes there is a stigma when people leave prison or leave incarceration that even their families may not, be situated to help them, and that stigma follows them throughout the community. So very important to have a resource that helps them make the transition back to the quality of life and contributing citizens to our world. So thank you so much for that. Tell us a little bit about so you've leased this facility, right? So you got to pay for the lease, you got to pay for the renovations, you got to plan to pay for food and shelter. What's the is there an amount that you're looking for in resources from these partners that will give?
Yes. So we signed a 30 years. We signed a 30-year lease agreement with the owner of the facility, and we already paid 5 years on that lease. So every 5 years, we're going to be paying $4,500. We are paying 900 per year on that property. So right now, we are looking at feeding the guys that are going to be there, because at a certain point of time, they're going to be responsible for themselves. Once you
Hmm.
find a job, you're going to be responsible for yourself. Yeah,
Hmm.
to some extent. But
Hmm.
in the first 3 months, we have to cater for them in all aspects.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And do you
So
know what that? Do you have a ballpark of what that total cost will be?
yes, we have a budget on that, even though I do not have it right now with me. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, but
Because I
I
think
can.
potential partners might want to know specifically what the need is, even though you've signed a 30-year lease, which I think is ambitious. That's pretty ambitious.
Yeah.
But I think partners will want to know that, and so I'm sure that you have some uh,
Ye-
pitch deck or proposal or portfolio that you can share when people reach out to you. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
can. I can. I, yeah.
No, that'll
What's
be
the
fine.
name?
So when people reach out to you, I just want to know that they can expect to receive some information about what the actual needs are, right?
Right. Right.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. We're at 12:50 and we're talking to Raymond Fallah Bombo, Executive Director for Wings for Life. And before I let him go, I want Raymond for you to look in the camera and talk to the people that are watching on Good Friday or maybe close thereafter about the good work of Wings for Life and why they should support Wings for Life. Raymond, you with me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, sir. I'm
Yeah,
hearing you.
yeah. You can send us that information later, but since we're live,
All
I
right.
wanted you to look right into the camera and tell people that are watching on this Good Friday why they should contribute to Wings for Life.
Okay. Most importantly, this is a viable cause. This is something uh, that would change the life, of people that are coming from jail, and not just that, we also help their children as well. Because, sorry, all right. So this will also help the children of people that are in prison because they're going to save them a lot from going to jail as well, like their parent. Once a man or a woman goes to jail, as I previously said, uh, they become vulnerable. The children become vulnerable. Sometimes they end up with teenage pregnancy if it is a girl child, and if it is a boy, sometimes he ends up going to jail like his parent. So it is important that we support this program so that a parent can stay home and be able to cater to his or her child.
Right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Raymond, for joining us today. I'm going to invite you to drop in the comments the link where people can click on to give and an email address where people can share, where you can share rather information with people when they reach out to you so that if you have a press packet or if you have a pitch deck or proposal, that people can see the line items of the ways in which they can contribute to your building, to the renovation, to the infrastructure needs, to the um, daily activities of daily living needs that might come for your participants and to support a worthy cause. So I want to thank you so much for your time for being here. Now, what time is it there?
So I got 7 minutes to 5.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we are at
Yeah.
a 4 hour difference then, right? 4 hour difference. And
Yeah.
so though we are 4 hours difference, we are united in this cause with you. And this is great news on a Good Friday that somewhere in the world, someone is thinking of saving, sacrificing for bodies, black and brown bodies, and many others, so that they will have a new and fresh start. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the support, and I look forward to you to having you always around whenever there's a need.
Absolutely, and hopefully one day I will get to Liberia once travel resumes in a different way. Maybe I will
Yes.
get a chance to get there and actually see the facility and actually meet you in person. But Raymond, thank you so much, and thank you for your work and your witness and your passion for good news on this Good Friday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
That's Raymond Falabambo, and he is the executive director of Wings for Life. in Liberia, Africa, West Africa, who took his short experience in a prison, and you heard his conditions in that prison where there wasn't a separate facility for the men and women. There wasn't sewage or running water as it relates to um, bathroom use in facilities, that there was defecation throughout the facility, not adequate food and supplies and medical supplies. And from that 3-day experience, and it would be 3 days, right? From that 3-day experience, he decided that he would hear the call to help others, that his calling was to create a way to help others find the skills that they need, to find the jobs that they need, and to have a fresh start. And I thought it would be so fitting to share his work and story during this Good Friday. He was in jail for 3 days. 3 days sound familiar in this story around Jesus? And I know there is much argument about when those 3 days were. But those 3 days we celebrate on 3 days, on the first, second, and third day for Good Friday. A Good Friday where Black and brown bodies were under assault. And one in particular, who one soldier, I believe, said, "Never spake a man like this man," who was known for going about doing good. And through many court proceedings, it was said, "I find no fault in him." We talked at the outset about Patrick Yoya, who lost his life on April 4th in Grand Rapids, Michigan, at the hands of a police officer, and how this pipeline to prison and from it has to be stopped, and how there needs to be police reform along the way, and how one man, Raymond Fallah Bombo, is committing his life to doing what he can to maybe help 6 people at a time, 6 families at a time, and think about the reach of your own family if one person is impacted by incarceration. And what I'm hoping you hear in it is that one man committed to a cause or purpose, answering his call or her call and assignment in life, can change the landscape for many. In one sacrifice, much can be accomplished. So I want to ask you, what are you being called to do? Does this Good Friday remind you of a sacrifice that maybe you might need to make? Does it remind you of the sacrifices that others have made for you? What will you do in this season of passion to ignite the passion of others by using your passion in purpose, on purpose, to make a difference? I hope that when you see information for Wings for Life, that you will support this worthy organization, that you will help propel their mission and vision, that you will track along with them as we shall, to watch their graduates make commencement and make a difference in their own lives. And may it inspire you, as it has inspired me, to give, to be, and to do in a way that helps others achieve the best and be the best in and of themselves. We're going to share the Wings for Life link now, where you can donate. Should be populating across platforms. You can click on that link, wingsfli.org/donate. To learn more about it, you can go to wingsfli.org. While you're there, to learn more information and donate. And stand in your assignment, in your gift, in your truth, in your experience, and be good news on a Good Friday. Be passion news on any day to help someone along their journey to a fresh start. I'm Marcus Holmes, the HR Passion Guy. If you've liked this content at all, please click share and tag 5 of your closest connections, 5 of your more popular ones on LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, Twitch TV, YouTube events to share in the passion. Be ignited to be the best that you can be so that everybody around you is impacted to be the best that they are to be. And we'll see you soon in these streets of passion very soon. Thanks for joining us today.